Chapter 1. Some things in life are a given, like your period arriving when you're wearing white, like asking your hairdresser for 1 inch off and losing closer to 5, like the doorbell ringing the second your backside touches the cold porcelain. "Archie, can you get that, please?" I shouted from our bathroom. No reply. "Archie!" He'd been here 10 minutes ago, laid on our bed, using his phone to order our traditional Thursday night pizza while I hung up the washing. But now, silence. I broke the world record for speedweeing, dashing for the front door just as Joseph, the young lanky delivery driver from Donny's Pizza, was turning back up the garden path. He laughed when he saw my flustered state. I hid behind the door frame and quickly checked my knickers weren't tucked into my pajamas. Success. I was seriously considering calling the police. If you guys aren't taking your Thursday night pizza order, one of you must be dead. What a grim thought. I grabbed a £20 note from the glass jar marked Pizza Fund and gave it to him. I held out my hand for my change, £2.36, same as always. As I closed the door, Archie came up behind me, dressed in dark jeans and the shirt he'd asked me to iron the day before. His sandy-coloured hair swept off his face, his smile goofy and gorgeous. "Since when does pizza on the sofa come with a dress code?" I laughed. I always joked that Archie loved to dress like he'd just stepped off the beach, with the shell necklace he never took off and board shorts even in winter. I'd forgotten he owned any denim. It was the first thing I threw on. I knew he was lying. But what I didn't know was why. Our Thursday night pizza tradition had started 7 years earlier. I'd moved in with Archie on a Thursday with nothing but a battered, overflowing suitcase that had burst open twice on the multiple trains it took me to get from Malden, Essex, to Bristol Temple Meads. A couple of 20-year-olds in love, Archie had met me on the train platform, his shaggy hair stuffed under a flat black cap, holding a crumpled handwritten sign saying, "The love of my life." I'd smiled so wide it hurt. Running toward him like a girl in a wartime film. A running leap, legs around his waist. I kissed him like he'd just saved my life. It took me 30 minutes to unpack, to slot into his warm and welcoming life 170 miles from home. We celebrated by getting pizza from the little place on the corner of Fish Ponds High Street, Donny's. The dough was soggy and undercooked. The pepperoni had lumps of gristle so thick we were convinced it wasn't pork, that it had to be a super-strength animal, like bear or ox. Greasy boxes before us, we ate cross-legged on the hardwood floor, sharing kisses between each bite. It was a fresh start, a new era. Perfect. Since that night, rain or shine, hail or thunder, every Thursday after work we ordered pizza from Donny's. Once we had a snowstorm so bad they couldn't get their mopeds off the pavement to deliver. Archie pulled on my old Ugg boots that were 2 sizes too small for him and trekked through 5 inches of snow to the pizzeria to collect our usual order of a large pepperoni, a box of potato wedges, and a tub of garlic and herb dip. He came back victorious and handed me our dinner with snowflakes on his long eyelashes, a heroic smile on his face. If my baby wants pizza, my baby gets pizza. I fell in love with him a little bit more that night. Some people say routine gets stale and boring. I found it comforting, like a warm hug at the end of a hard day, a hot meal on a cold night. Monday lasagna, Tuesday stir-fry, Wednesday fish pie, Friday chicken curry. I never needed to worry about what was coming next. Or so I thought. Archie took my hand and opened the door to our living room. It was suspiciously clean. His football kit bag, that was a permanent fixture on the leather sofa, was mysteriously missing. The lighting was all soft and cosy, the dimmer switch I'd been asking him to replace for years miraculously working, giving the grey bachelor pad-style room a warm, golden shade. "Did you clean?" I didn't mean to say it with such audacity, but between his long working days on the road as a photocopier salesman, playing football for the five-a-side team on a Tuesday night, coaching a Bristol youth team on a Wednesday, cricket on a Friday, and then boys' nights on a Saturday, it was usually me who ended up wiping the dust from his cinema-sized television and vacuuming stray toenail clippings from the rug. You can still be a feminist if you spend more time cleaning than fighting the patriarchy, right? "I did," Archie said. I wanted you to be able to put your feet up tonight. Relax. Take it all in. Before I could ask what it was I was supposed to be taking in, he kissed me. With passion and lust. The way he used to when we first started dating. I sighed, rubbing the tip of my nose against his. What was that for? It wasn't that we never had sex. We did. Just not quite as much as I'd expect two loved-up 27-year-olds to. I'd Googled it a couple of times in a mini panic that we might be faulty, that the limited bedroom action equated to bigger issues in our relationship. All answers told me it was normal to have highs and lows, a dry patch, perfectly healthy. Still, it was always a welcome surprise when we did get down to it. Because I love you, Kit. Archie laughed, tilting his head back. His good mood was such a turn-on. I leaned in for more, and he obliged, giving my bum a long, savouring squeeze. But when I moved for his shirt buttons, he grabbed my hands. A temporary rejection? Come sit down, he said. There's something I want to talk to you about. He led me to the sofa, the pizza on the coffee table between us. He turned to me, his trembling hands in my lap, his expression new and unreadable. He's dying. No, don't be upset. Oh God, he's breaking up with me. I felt sick. I took a deep breath. The food no longer smelled delicious. It smelled like this was about to be the worst night of my life. Calm down, Kitty. He probably just wants to ask if he can use the big television to play that weird shooting game he loves so much. Is everything okay? I asked. Better than okay. He adjusted the crotch of his jeans and sat closer. I could see the golden flecks in his brown eyes, the soft cupid's bow of his lips, the mischievous look in his eye. He was up to something, that was for sure. The last time he looked at me like this, he surprised me with a weekend away in London. He dragged me to watch Arsenal play at Wembley on the Saturday, but still, it was a lovely weekend. I scanned my memory for upcoming football competitions as he finally opened the pizza box and handed it to me. I reached for a slice and took a huge bite. He gasped. I was about to ask what the hell was going on, but then I spotted it. A diamond ring, in the middle of the pizza, covered in tomato-coloured grease. Kitty Harris, he said formally. I love you so much, even though you think it's acceptable to put pineapple on pizza. He paused, like he was expecting me to laugh. I was a carved lump of stone. I couldn't take my eyes off the ring. I know you hate all that romantic stuff, and I do too, so I figured where better to do this than in the home we've made together, the place we make all our best memories. You're the greatest thing to ever happen to me. There's no one else in the world I'd want to spend the rest of my life with. Despite my stunned silence, he kept grinning at me. So? He pulled the ring out of the slice, wiping it on his sleeve before holding it up to me like Oliver asking for more. What do you say, Kitty? Will you be my wife? I gaped at him. My mouth so wide, a bite of half-chewed pizza fell out and hit the leather sofa under me. The diamond beamed at me like a laser. Princess cut. Stunning. It was everything 12-year-old me thought she wanted, but 27-year-old me knew it came at a bigger cost than just the one on the price tag. Archie's eyes were cocksure and expectant. He was clueless to the flurry of dread inside me. Seconds took hours. Familiar thoughts came rushing to the surface. Marriage doesn't last. I don't want this, but I want him. How can I love this man as much as I do and not want to see his face light up with one simple word? What the hell is wrong with me? It's so sudden, I said, trying to stall the madness. Archie laughed. Sudden? Kitty, we've been together forever. Today is our anniversary. You didn't expect this even a little bit? Our anniversary? I'd completely forgotten. I had a flashback to when Archie and I first met in London. I was visiting my friend Emma, who'd not long arrived to study at University College. Archie was on a business trip with a photocopier manufacturer he worked for. Emma said she'd take me to see the sights, get me out of Essex for a few days. I wanted out of my head. Mum and Dad's divorce had just been finalised. The house was empty of love and full of grief. I noticed Archie staring at me in the queue for the London Eye. We ended up in the same pod, and as we spiralled above Big Ben, he sidled up next to me. My heart sped up. Time slowed down. He told me Big Ben was the name of the bell, not the actual clock tower, and even though I already knew that, I pretended I didn't. A gorgeous man with a smile reserved only for me. I couldn't believe my luck. 2 months later, I packed my bags and moved across the country to be with him. He had this big house in Bristol with an affordable mortgage his parents had helped him get. And I was lost and lonely, thinking I'd be stuck in Essex forever. Archie was exactly what I needed, exactly when I needed it. He said moving in with him was the obvious decision. I guess proposing after 7 years together was the obvious decision too. Being with Archie made me feel like the luckiest girl in the world. Always the first to laugh at my goofy jokes, my fiercest defender. He supported me financially without making me feel small about it, took me on lovely holidays. He'd hold my hair back when I got food poisoning without any hint of complaint. A lifetime with him. I could do a lot worse. I don't know what to say, I said. Sensing this wasn't the immediate yes he'd expected, Archie made a formal display and got down on one knee. Say yes. He smiled, holding the ring so close to my face I could almost see my reflection in it. I heard the clock on the wonky fireplace ticking. My stomach seized and flipped. An engagement ring and a pizza. I know it's our tradition, but surely this is a practical joke. Surely he's going to point to a hidden camera and scream, "Gotcha!" any second. As a small laugh rose at the absurdity of it all, Archie mistook it for glee. And maybe I nodded my head. Maybe my chin dropped. Maybe I blinked yes at him in Morse code. Who knows? But suddenly he was cheering. And the ring was on my finger. And it was a done deal. Mrs. Archie Smithson to be. He grabbed his phone, snapping pictures of my hand, oblivious to the pizza that was now face down on the carpet, splatters of tomato sauce making the room look like a murder scene. Kitty, you've made me the happiest man in the world. He bundled me into his embrace, and just as I was about to call pause on the craziness, to tell him I hadn't actually said yes, that I wanted to talk about this, he hit share on the picture of my finger. Hashtag blessed, hashtag all mine, hashtag she said yes. My strained, desperate to look happy face was now being liked by hundreds of strangers on Archie's ever-growing social pages. Then he pressed call, cheering with his mum and sisters, telling everyone in his life the good news, oblivious to the fact my phone remained upstairs on charge. Everyone was ecstatic, naturally. I sat dazed on the sofa, watching it unfold. Thankful my parents didn't have social media, that none of my colleagues happened to follow Archie, that I had a few more hours to be in denial at least. It should have been one of the happiest days of my life. I should have never wanted it to end, but all I could think was, can I go to bed yet?